I like to see a life that, you know, kids don't have to like see their parents through like a glass window. That kids don't have to go through what I went through, and kids can actually like have a childhood.
So, a bit of background and history of the Dream On campaign. The Dream On campaign was created on Brophy's campus in 2017 as a part of Advocacy Club's new campaign. This new campaign stemmed from the essential values of immigration and dreamers' rights as a human right. The Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act and the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act made it so that restricting welfare and public benefits for aliens, because PRORA defines aliens' eligibility for state and local public benefits, and the IRIRA bars a state from having post-secondary education benefits to non-qualified aliens based on residence in the state. This made it so that students in Arizona could not have the same in-state tuition benefits that Arizona residents would have because of their legal status. In the past, there have been several efforts to pass DREAM Acts in several states across the country, which have all failed in an attempt to provide a pathway to citizenship to immigrants who came to the U.S. at the age or before of 18.
In 2003, the Department of Homeland Security was formed. Also, the Immigration Custom Enforcement, also known as ICE, was born. To this day, ICE has caused immigrants trauma and fear, as the fears of family separation and deportations continue to be a threat towards lives.
Proposition 300, which was passed in 2006, made it so that university students who did not have legal immigration status were ineligible for in-state tuition or financial aid that would be funded by state money, which is considered a public benefit, and that is barred by the IRIRA Act. This ties to the Dream On campaign and the Educated AF campaign in partnership with Aliento, because we work to gain in-state tuition for Arizona graduates regardless of immigration status.
In 2010, the Show Me Your Papers law, or SB 1070, passed in Arizona. This law allowed for police to racially profile people. Soon, anti-immigrant copycat laws spread throughout the country. To this day, SB 1070 is remembered as one of the most traumatic pieces of legislation for the immigrant community. Passed by the Obama administration, DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, brought hope to the lives of many immigrants who were brought to the United States at a young age. Some requirements that were asked of these immigrants were that they had entered the country before turning 16 and have continuously resided in the US since June 15, 2007. In 2017, DACA was rescinded by the Trump administration, putting in limbo an incredible amount of immigrants, many of which could no longer apply and were left without any protection from deportation or eligibility for a work permit. Currently, DACA is being threatened once again by the Trump administration, and no new applications are being accepted. In the current political climate, immigrants are left anxious, confused, and frustrated, as hostility and numerous fear tactics have been used against them. For example, the zero tolerance policy that this administration has adopted states that anybody who enters the country illegally is prosecuted, and the children of those migrants are placed into the care of a sponsor. This has not been the case, however. The children have been crammed into detention facilities and have come to be known as concentration camps. Many children have died in these concentration camp-like facilities.
As a part of the Dream On campaign, Advocacy Club hosted a phone-a-thon on December 7th, 2017, where students called their state legislators and asked for their support on a bill that grants access to in-state tuition to all Arizona high school graduates, regardless of immigration status.
On February 15, 2018, The Dream On campaign hosted a DACA teach-in where members of the community could hear the stories of students who were impacted by the rescinding of DACA in 2017.
On January 23, 2019, over 230 students from across the valley gathered at the Arizona State Capitol for Education Day. Here, students advocated for in-state tuition for all Arizona high school graduates, regardless of immigration status.
On November 12, 2019, the Dream On campaign hosted an immigration awareness teach-in in response to the Supreme Court of the United States oral arguments on DACA.
Once again, Advocacy Club participated in Education Day 2020 on January 23rd, where over 300 students from across the valley gathered at the Arizona State Capitol to once again advocate for in-state tuition for all Arizona high school graduates, regardless of immigration status.
My name is Ava Brownlow, and I'm a senior at Xavier College Prep, but more importantly, I'm an ally of immigrants, mixed status families, and dreamers in this country.
Hello, my name is Kyle Tran. I'm a senior at Brophy College Prep, and I serve as an ally for Advocacy Club.
My name is Ivan Rose Barrera, and I'm a senior here at Brophy.
Hi, my name is Diego Acevedo. I'm a 17-year-old dreamer in Brophy College Prep.
My name is Abril Valenzuela. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a senior at Xavier.
My name is Darian Benitez Sanchez. I am 17 years old, and I am an undocumented student at Brophy College Prep.
Lucky for me, I was blessed enough to have spent the most primary years of my life alongside immigrants and children of immigrants. This exposure has gifted me empathy, humanity, and appreciation for those who have given up everything to be something for their families.
At this point, I didn't really know my family situation. I didn't know what it meant to be illegal or what it meant to be an illegal alien in the United States. But after this very uncomfortable situation at the kitchen table, I knew that I wanted to be something different.
The system took my parents away. I had to see life through a lens that I didn't want to see. I was forced to.
I want to change for my family. I want to change for every immigrant that's here in the United States feeling like they're not accepted and feeling like they still are a foreigner.
I do this because I've lived my entire life with the fear that I might lose my parents, and I've almost lost them countless times. I grow up pushing myself, trying to thrive in whatever space I'm in, only to be halted by forces outside of my power.
What my goal is to help uplift and to share their stories and experiences so that others can learn and understand their perspectives so that we can all together fight for a more equitable and just system.
The truth is that growing up undocumented is terrifying. It's confusing. You never know what to expect.
I want to help kids like me realize that they are important and that we do have a voice, either by sharing narratives or going out there to speak to your representatives, just to show them that you are a person.
Creating a family here at Brophy and at Advocacy Club, I feel empowered, and I want to do something about the systems that are broken, because it's time that we have teenagers and children who are no longer afraid. Thank you.
Does milk go into cereal first, or cereal goes into the bowl first?
That's too obvious of a question.
That's very quick.
You know what? I think I have a better question for the day.
Like when you're serving cereal, do you put your milk in first?
Who puts the milk in first?
I do.
What was our motivation to join Advocacy Club or to start the Dream On campaign?
I think I had a kind of a misconception of what Advocacy Club was at first. Like as someone who's directly impacted by the issues we deal with, logically, my first 2 years of high school, I tried to avoid all of this as much as possible. And that's because in my mind, why would I want to make public the very identity that's haunted me for so long, or why would I want to share these kind of stories? Because the only thing I've tried to do is stay away from it. So all of high school, I just wanted to do school, to succeed in school, and then graduate, maybe attend college, and then just try and live a life forgetting the fact that I was undocumented and that my life is at risk and my parents' life were at risk. So then joining Advocacy Club was had no space in my mind at first. And ironically, I felt way safer on November 12th as soon as I revealed my status, which is something that I didn't think was going to work out that way. So Advocacy Club, I first joined through an invitation from Mr. Rat, and I came in, and as soon as I saw what exactly it was, it's more of a community than anything else, and that's really what I needed, and that I didn't know that I needed. So that's what kept me in, just the community and the space that it provides.
For me, like Diego and Abril, I joined randomly and I literally loved it the first day. The sense of camaraderie and family really inspired all of us to use our voices and feel powerful and confident in issues that we all saw were prevalent and we're all facing, but to be able to use our voices as young people and actually feel powerful and that we could actually do something about it instead of being pushed down for our age or ethnicity or status or whatever that is, and just use that to push something and push a movement.
Throughout your guys' work, what has really impacted you the most?
For me, I think it's less about the outcome and whether we get a success or not, but for me, what has pushed me is the people in the space. For example, all of you pushed me to want to do something for both myself and for all of you, because the work isn't made to be done by one person. It's made to be done by a group and a community, and with all of us, it's what's really pushed me to want to keep going, rather than like, oh, we didn't get the success we wanted, we didn't get the bill passed, we didn't get a sponsor and such. It's more about being pushed to want to help each other.
I believe that uplifting the reality that people really don't know about is something that really hits me the most. Because throughout my life, I thought this was something that everyone went through in my community. I thought that this was something that everyone knew about. And going to a school such as Brophy, I realized that that's not the story here. A lot of people don't know our story. A lot of people don't know the struggles we go through. A lot of people don't see the wars that we fight every day. And to know that the work we're doing is something that, you know, maybe the first time someone hears about, maybe the first time that someone hears this issue, this problem, and to know that we're the ones that are to first open their eyes to this issue that, you know, is encompassing many of our lives, many of our families' lives, and it's in general a whole community in general, is something that, you know, really impacts me the most, because of the fact that I realize that this isn't about us no more. This is about showing others the problem that really that really just makes a struggle in all our communities and overall people.
What has been the most difficult or most challenging part of our work throughout our years at Advocacy Club? I think some of the most difficult things for me has been, as an ally, I want to do my best to uplift and really share my friends, my family's stories to legislators and to other officials who we spoke to in Washington. But the most difficult part is sometimes the guilt of being an ally and having them kind of ignore, brush off your guys' stories or other stories that I share, and it feels like a weight has been put on me, because I felt like I didn't do my best to share your guys' story when they're just sort of brushing it off, or they're just ignoring the stories. And what I wish is that they do take the time to really reflect, to take in the story that I brought from Arizona all the way to Washington, that they would be able to at least take it in and just reflect on these individual stories, and to understand that these are experiences that are not just one person in Arizona, but probably thousands all across the country. And so, as an ally, the most difficult thing is having to get that story ignored, brushed off, as just another story, basically.
For me, it's the most difficult part is having to face people's misconceptions and ignorance. Everyone's justified to have their own opinion and their own viewpoints, but in my opinion, it's better to gain wisdom, gain perspectives, and gain narratives, so you can better understand what's being put forward to you. And sometimes what we're trying to do is just help students feel accepted in their own homes, in their own school, in their own classrooms. And it's very hard to do that when a lot of people aren't on board on what you're trying to do. And what we're trying to do is just help them realize that what we're doing is right, and what we're doing is just trying to help students and gain justice for students in our own community, not somewhere miles away, states away across in the border, but in your own school, in your own neighborhood, your next door neighbor, the kid you sit next to in your English class. That's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to help them, and help them go out there and kind of let them be who they are. And because it's a hard burden to try to grow if you have a whole country and a whole justice system pushing you down. And the hardest part for me is helping others realize that, and helping others hear my story, so we can help them just kind of join the A train and kind of join the party. But we've had some success doing that, and it's just the difficult part is others not wanting to learn and others not wanting to open up their ears and eyes. So, yeah.
Why do you think there's so much conflict and so much oppression through the movement that we've been working on throughout these years?
I believe that, the system that was put against us is something that wasn't made overnight. It was something that, took various years, it took various planning in order for us to, be put down. And for us to be doing this work, we're finally, dismantling in some way. And a lot of people don't want to see that. A lot of people don't want to see, their system that they always made for us to, be dismantled, to be destroyed. But, we're out here, we're young kids, and we're the future. And we're going to make a change. We're going to make things different than how it always was. And to know that the system that was there before, we're going to make it different. Because, we're big people now. We're a big population. And they can't ignore us no more. They can't ignore our cries. They can't ignore our realities. And I believe that, we're going to change things.
How do we move forward with these narratives?
What we do with these narratives is share and ultimately uplift those voices when they're being silenced. Going to legislators to share those stories and to help them know what people are experiencing, whether that's issues going on because they're undocumented, on DACA, or mixed status. It's important to bring these stories to light when they're being casted out of shadow. So, such as going to legislators to share the stories, or just sharing them with personal friends or family. The ultimate goal is to really uplift those stories, and so that everybody can understand the issues at hand.
It's important to put a face to narratives because without them, we really don't have a basis of what needs to change. So by doing this and uplifting those voices, we're able to put a voice to the issue at hand.
With the Dream On campaign, we fight to create events that expose the vulnerability and expose the stories of students in our community who are part of the mixed status family, who are undocumented or have received DACA in the past. We create environments so people in our community and our peers can listen to what we have to say and help them realize that the story is not so far from home. And to create a change in our community and help the students feel like they are at home here at Brophy.